This activity, rising water, illustrates how water is able to travel upwards in high tree trunks and in all kinds of plants. However, when you start or introduce them to this activity, it could be interesting to first ask them how water is transported around in our bodies. And with water I then mean blood, because blood is mainly water. And they will probably know that it's the heart, it works like a pump, and it's pumping the water, the blood around in the body. And then you may move over to plants. How is water transported up in plants? Have they seen a pump at the bottom of a tree trunk, for example? And I guess they haven't, because there are none. And this makes them a little curious, and you can then tell them that this activity we're going to do now illustrates an important chemical property of water, which makes water able to travel upwards in plants, even tall trees, more than 100 meters above the ground. And what you need is coffee filters. You need a glass or beaker with a small amount of water here at the bottom. And then you need to draw with a water-soluble marker approximately 2 centimeters from the bottom. And I just start with black, with one color, to see what happens with this one color. And it's important now that when you add or put this coffee filter into the water, it shall not be soaked into the water, but the water should be able to travel upwards. So I've drawn this a little bit higher from the bottom than the level of the water here. And then it's just to put it down, and you will see immediately that the water starts to move upwards. It goes very quickly. It's the same thing that happens if you, for example, dip a biscuit in tea or a sugar cube in coffee. Immediately the water soaks into the biscuit or sugar cube. And what happens when the water passes the black marker, the color starts moving with the water, as it's water-soluble color. And what we see then is that all of a sudden there is a pink front here on the top. So there is some pink color hidden in this black color. And I also see a more bluish further down. So at least we have found 2 different colors inside this black marker. While I'm waiting for this, I'll make a new pattern. Now I will alternate blue and purple to see what that will look like. And when your students do this, it's nice for them to not just make one coffee filter, but to do it several times and explore different patterns. So this is now the black, and it's very easy to see that some pink was actually hidden inside the black color, and some dark part of the black is still down here. It doesn't move easily. And then we have some grayish blue that moved upward here. So what happens now with this blue and purple? These colors also move up easily and create a beautiful pattern. When your students have completed a few coffee filter art pieces, you may ask them again, why is water moving upwards in these filters, and let them reflect a little bit over this question. And you can tell them or explain them that water is a sticky molecules. If you have one water molecule and then another, they will tend to stick to each other. And inside coffee filter paper, there is some narrow tubes, and the walls in this paper is also very attractive for water molecules. So they tend to stick to these walls. That's why they travel into the paper and into these tubes. And when one or a few molecules starts to move, others follow, and that's why they can move upwards. And the same mechanism goes on inside plants like tree trunks. There are also thin tubes called capillary tubes that water travel upwards with inside these tubes. And here I have now made a third pattern, also using red, and it became quite beautiful actually. And what you also can do at the end is to tear the coffee filter apart, and the result is beautiful butterfly patterns. And of course here you can cut off the edges, and they look even more like butterflies. Good luck!